Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live. I'm here to give you this week's roundup of chamber music live stream action for the week of December 8th to December 15th. We have a lot that's going on this week, some of which are Christmas concerts, some of which are not, mostly not, the ones I'm going to tell you about, because I'll do a separate roundup tomorrow on Wednesday, December 10th, of the Christmas concerts going on all over the place this week. What we have for you this week is live streams from Madrid, live streams from New York, from Philadelphia, from the Old Post Road, which I'll tell you about, and from the West Coast in Seattle. Before I go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other 6 platforms, do yourself a favor and follow and/or subscribe to Access Arts Live to get more than 1,000 live performances online this year. That's what we promise you, and I assure you that is what we deliver. So let's get on to the first of this week's chamber music live streams, because it's going to be happening later today. Out in San Francisco, the city by the bay, the city on the hills, the city where I used to live and just had so many great times in my life. And no, on TikTok, you don't get to see the pictures and you don't get the list of all of these concerts and the times and the live links to them, but you'll get them later. So Tuesday, December 9th at noon in San Francisco, Noontime Concerts, San Francisco, live streams a concert of music for Advent and Christmas. Those people you see in the picture are musicians of Old St. Mary's Cathedral and the Chinese Mission. That's Kelsey Devnar, soprano, Melissa Wong-Renati, mezzo-soprano, Kevin Dusek, a tenor, Nicholas Garcia, a baritone, Chris Grady on the trumpet, Russell Ryan on the piano, and Sylvia Park O'Neill on the piano as well. They'll be doing Handel, Bach, Tchaikovsky, Adam, the Oh Holy Night. That's the thing by Adam. And it's a Christmas concert. If that interests you, check it out. It will be happening, noon in California is 3:30 on the East Coast, and 9:30 in the evening here in Europe. Free of charge. Next up, we have a much more hardcore chamber music live stream to tell you about. Wednesday, the premier Brentano String Quartet plays Haydn String Quartet number 57 in C major, opus 54, Bartok String Quartet number 4, SZ 91, and Dvorak String Quartet number 13 in G major, opus 106. Very classic quartets by a very classic quartet. That is not free of charge. It's 92NY, which is live streaming this, and they charge $25 per live stream. They don't give it away. We'll give you the link to where you buy the ticket. It's at 11 o'clock in the morning, New York time, which will be 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and 5 o'clock in the evening here in Europe, which is an unusual time for 92NY. But that is the time listing that I have for them. No, I have a completely different time. I'm sorry. I don't know where I got that wrong time. It's at 7:30 p.m. New York time, which will be 1:30 in the morning here in Europe, 4:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast. So that's 7:30 p.m. CET. I don't know who got that wrong, but they sure did. Anyway, that's Mark Steinberg on the violin, Serena Kanin on the violin, Misha Amori on the viola, and Nina Lee on the cello. I've already told you what they're playing. This has been a top string quartet in the American cultural scene for 30 years. So you cannot go wrong with them. And they've been artist in residence at the Yale School of Music for the last decade. Before that, they were ensemble in residence at Princeton. You're just not going to get any better than that. So for a real hardcore classics experience, this is it. You've got something very early in Haydn. You got something much more recent in Bartok, and then you've got a lovely piece by Dvorak. That's not all on Wednesday, though. There's more. There's a March Vivo live stream coming to you this Wednesday. This guy, Ricardo Descalzo. March Vivo is kicking off a series on contemporary piano music with a live stream of the multiple award-winning pianist who specializes in contemporary piano music, Ricardo Descalzo, on Wednesday, December 10th. That's at 6:30 in the evening European time, 12:30 on the East Coast, 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast. As I said, Descalzo specializes in the contemporary repertoire. He has an audiovisual project called Piano Today with regard to that. He taught at Musicani for 17 years, and he's still doing online training for piano teachers in the avant-garde repertoire. They'll be doing a bunch of pieces by people, I don't know their names, all these Spanish 20th century late 20th century, 21st century composers, most of whom are still alive. Ramon Hume, Mario Caro, Jesus Rueda, Miquel Olieu, Manuel Rodriguez Vanzuela. If you know all of these Spanish composers and more, if you know all these Spanish composers, you're a better person than I am, because I don't. But anyway, you can check that out. I'm sure it'll be a highly interesting concert filled with discoveries for you. It's free of charge. Then we move on to the concert on Thursday from St. Mary's Perivale. You can set your watch by these St. Mary's Perivale concerts very regularly on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes on Sundays. And this one will be a father-daughter duo. Father-daughter duo Francis and Indira Gandhi on the piano and cello returned to St. Mary's Perivale to play Bach, Ligeti, Schumann, and Shostakovich. Live stream free of charge as ever on Thursday, December 11th. That'll be at their usual time of 3 in the afternoon in Europe, noon on the East Coast, and 9 in the morning on the East Coast, and 6 in the morning on the West Coast. They'll be doing Bach's Prelude from the cello suite number 6 in D, BWV 1012. They'll do Ligeti's solo cello sonata, so Indira gets to show off. And then they'll do Schumann's Adagio and Allegro from Opus 70, and they'll finish up with Shostakovich's cello sonata in D minor, Opus 40. Which is the longest of the pieces they're playing. Almost exactly a year ago, on December 12, 2024, they played at St. Mary's Perivale, which knows them very well. Indira, the younger of the two, has already played at places like Wigmore Hall, St. John Smith Square, the Verbier Église. She's played at festivals like the Verbier Soloist, the Chamber Music Academy, and the Prussia Cove Open Chamber Music. She got a gold medal in the 2019 Vienna International Music Competition, and she's an assistant teacher of cello at the Yehudi Menuhin School now. Francis Grier, her father, was long time the organist at Christ Church Cathedral, Oxford, which is way up there on the food chain when it comes to cathedral organist in the UK. He was the first organist ever to be given to do a solo concert at the BBC Proms way back 40 years ago, 1985, and he's started doing he's composing more these days. He's done commissions for St. George's Chapel, for Windsor Castle, royal family, for the BBC, for Vocal Essence in Minneapolis. He's currently working on compositions for the choirs of Bath Abbey and Clare College, Cambridge. Interesting family, but very talented family. St. Mary's, Perivale. Okay, later that day, there's another of our weekly regulars live streaming. Many of our weekly regulars are not live streaming right now, but Midtown Concerts is Thursday, December 11th. Midtown Concerts brings in virtuoso Bach violinist and conductor Shunske Sato from the Amsterdam Conservatory to play Bach's Partita number 2, BWV 10-1004, and works by composers Bach influenced, including Friedrich Wilhelm Rust, Bela Bartok, and Eugène Issei, French. What a coup, another coup. This is, this guy is very, very top level. This is a weekly series they do, and sometimes the groups that come in playing are New York City groups because that's where Midtown Concerts is located. But sometimes they bring in these really high flying guys like Shunske Sato, who's really, he's the big cheese when it comes to Baroque violin. Been a faculty member at the Amsterdam Conservatory since 2013, teaching historical violin. What else? He's done special projects with the European Union Baroque Orchestra, with the New World Symphony down in Miami. He came up with, for about a decade, from 2013 to 2023, he was the concert master and leader of the Netherlands Bach Society, where he really got his opportunity to conduct oratorios and cantatas and things like that. He has done his own instrumentation of Bach's Art of the Fugue. Need I say more? This will be a top quality concert, live streamed, free of charge by those great folks over at Midtown Concerts. Okay, then we move on to Saturday. We don't have anything going on Friday that we know of, but things may pop up. So you want to keep track of our daily. I've started doing for usually from Wednesday through Sunday or Tuesday through Sunday, a daily update on each day's live streams because we get new information all the time with people that don't notify us well in advance of when they're doing something. So the next concert here. Oh, before I go to that, I do want to show you this other picture that I found of Shunske Sato, and I was so excited talking about him that I forgot to show it to you. But here's the guy. Here's a guy who loves what he's doing and enjoys what he's doing, and that is in a performing artist. That's just infectious. Don't want to miss that. Okay, I will now move on to the next one, which is March Vivo, and which is a quartet. And I'm not exactly sure what it is they're going to be doing, but I'll tell you what I know. Saturday, December 13th, the Matrice or Matrice Quartet will be holding an extended rehearsal of music by Haydn, Dvorak, Price, Florence Price, Fanny Mendelssohn, Philip Glass, and Piazzolla, among others, which ends, of course, with the rhythm of the tango, live streamed by March Vivo. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about what they're talking about. March Vivo's description of this. The concert is called The Quartet, The Strings Speak. It talks about, it starts out this way, saying this: a string quartet is rehearsing, but this is no ordinary rehearsal. And then it goes on to talk about it being like a little psychodrama with people talking and awkward moments and all of that. So it sounds like they're going to perform it as if they were at a rehearsal, but I'm not certain of that. I am certain of what they're going to be playing, what I just described to you. And the Matrice Quartet, I'm trying to pronounce it in the Spanish way, is Alina Sitnikava, Alicia Navidad on the violins, Berta Herrero on the viola, and Ana Laura Iglesias on the cello. So it's an all-women's quartet. They've performed at places like the Budapest Music Center, the Tirana University of the Arts, the Heerlijkheid Marienwerk in Rotterdam, and they're part of this Merita network of emerging European quartets. So they'll start out doing some Haydn, some selections from a couple of his quartets, and then Dvorak, a selection from his quartet number 12. They're doing pieces, selections from these things. A selection from Florence Price's string quartet number 2, and then a selection from Fanny Mendelssohn, Philip Glass, Hans Zimmer, Villa-Lobos, Dvorak again, Gorecki, and finishing up with Astor Piazzolla's 4 for Tango. It's an interesting lineup, however they may be playing it. You're going to hear a lot of different pieces of music by a lot of different musicians by this process of selecting them out. Okay, then we have some more going on Saturday for me to tell you about. The next concert, musicians of the Old Post Road live stream arias, cantatas, and instrumental works by Johann Sebastian Bach, his students and family members. That'll be arias and duets by Johann Ludwig Bach, Homilius and J.S. Bach's, works by Agricola, W.F. Bach and Krebs, and J.C.F. Bach's Mini Oratorio Die Kindheit Jesu, Saturday, December 13th. That'll be at 4 p.m. On the East Coast, 1 o'clock on the West Coast in the U.S., 10 o'clock in the evening here in Europe, and 8 o'clock Sunday morning down under in Australia. I pretty much described to you what they're going to be playing. As for the musicians of the Old Post Road, they're a high-quality group. This will not be free of charge. You'll have to pay $35 for the stream, but bear this in mind. This is the musicians of the Old Post Road live streaming themselves. So this is not some institution which is taking cream off the top. This is what goes to the artists themselves. You might want to consider that in deciding whether or not, well, it's too much or not. I don't think it's ever too much for the artists themselves. And that's Michelle Kennedy, soprano, Sophie Michaud, mezzo-soprano, Jason McStutz, the tenor, and Daniel Friday, bass. Then, a little later in the day, another stream that you'll have to pay for comes from 92NY. Do I have a photo to go with this one? We'll see in just an exciting moment. And I don't. So that's that. But I can tell you about it anyway. Saturday, December 13th, 92NY live streams a sophisticated concert by Jay Campbell on the cello and Connor Hannock on the piano, playing the world premiere of Enigma No. 3 by composer Marcos Balter, a 92NY commission. That comes at a charge of $25. 92NY always charges that amount for the live streaming. Jay Campbell and Connor Hannock are new music specialists. And this is the third and final chapter of this series of pieces by the Brazilian composer Marcos Balter. And there were 3 interconnected works which were commissioned by 92NY starting in February 2020. The first one was called Kerning, and then the second one was called Reticularia, and this final piece is called Mogi Bake. So you get to see the first ever performance of 3 enigmas in its entirety in this live stream. And then we move on to concerts that I do have pictures for. And there are going to be some contemporary concerts that I'm not, that are sort of chamber music concerts that I can't present to you today in this format because there's no time to get to them. But I will do a separate live stream for them on Wednesday or Thursday. Sunday, December 14th, March Vivo live streams a musical celebration of the birth of Christ through religious and secular works from the Iberian Renaissance, sung by the Spanish vocal ensemble Cantoria. That'll be at noon on Sunday, European time, 6 in the morning on the East Coast. If you're up late at 3 a.m. on your Saturday night on the West Coast, check it out. Or 10 o'clock in the evening, Sunday evening, down under in Australia. The core of this performance will be pieces by Matteo Fleccia. And the group Cantoria, it's Inez Alonso, soprano, Oriol Guimera, alto, Luis Arratia, bass, Jeremy Nastasi, vihuela, that's the instrument, Mark de la Linde, viola da gamba, Inaki de la Linde on percussion, and Marina Lopez on the organ. This is a vocal group that specializes in Iberian vocal polyphony from the Renaissance and early Baroque period. So although this is a Christmas concert, it has a very focused musical reason for being. They made their debuts. They were founded in 2016 by Jorge Lozana, who himself is a singer, but also a conductor and a cultural entrepreneur, as he puts it. And they made debuts at places like the Laus Polyphonie in Antwerp, the Muziekgebouw in Amsterdam, Wigmore Hall in London. Made a tour of the United States. That's how they were launched, and it's been onward and upward. The first CD, I think, came out in 2022, and it won multiple awards, including the award from the Deutsche Schalenplatzkritik. Anyway, I love saying that, and I might even have mangled the name, but it's the Deutsche Record Critics Prize. And so they'll be doing several pieces by Matteo Fleccia. Then they're doing several pieces from the Uppsala Songbook. Another piece from the Songbook of Medinacelli. This is really old stuff. And then they'll do a piece from the Cancioneras de Gandia. If you really want to dig into really early music, Christmas music, this is it. And then finally, the last of the more or less classical ones that I'm here to tell you about is, I'll tell you about it anyway, even though it's a Christmas concert. Really should go into a separate thing that I'm going to be doing on Christmas concerts. I'm going to be doing a separate thing on, this kind of folksy, community-related Christmas concerts. And those places where it seems serious enough that it has pure musical interest. I'll talk about that. All right, Sunday, December 14th, the Bird Ensemble presents Brittany, a ceremony of carols, live streamed by the Bird Ensemble itself. This is another one of those cases of a group like the musicians of the Old Post Road doing their own live streaming. It comes at a $20 fee plus a $20 ticket plus a $3 fee. They'll be doing Britten's A Hymn to the Virgin, William Byrd's Lula Lule, My Sweet Little Baby, Kenneth Layton's Coventry Carol, Gustav Holst's 4 Old English Carols, Tomas Tallis's Missa Puer Natis es Nobis. That's the Mass for the Child is Born to Us. They'll do the Gloria from that. And then they'll do Brittany's A Ceremony of Carols, which is what makes this a real concert. and Robert Pearsall's In Dulce Jubile. It'll be Elizabeth Landis on the harp, joining the Bird Ensemble. They're a professional ensemble specializing in Renaissance polyphony. They've been around for over 20 years. They're Seattle-based, but they've received high praise from people like John Rutter and by Gramophone magazine. So this is a Christmas concert, but it's a quality Christmas concert. It's just not something to take the kids to have a good time. Some of which there are, and I'll be telling you about those in a separate live stream on Wednesday, December 10th. So that's what we have for you in terms of real chamber music action this week. I hope that one, more, some, or any of these live streams uplifts you, inspires you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. And before I sign off, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other 6 platforms, do yourself a favor and follow and/or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. And make sure that you get access to more than 1,000 live performances online this year. We provide you with the live links, the vast majority of which are concerts which are free of charge to enjoy, and then maybe 10 to 15% of them come at a cost. And it's up to you if you want to pay for that. But our service is free. And nobody else is doing what we're doing, which is giving you access to all of it. You can find orchestra websites, yes, and you can find I don't think there's a chamber music live stream website at all. So, and then when it comes to organ music, we're the only ones letting you know about all the organ music recitals and the piano recitals and the competitions. It's all here. So you don't have to look for it. And I guarantee you, it's a full-time job to keep track of all the stuff we're keeping track of here. In fact, it's probably a full-time job for 2 people. So with that, I'll say ciao for now. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this. If you're interested in the organ recitals, we did the live stream on that earlier today. And if you're interested in orchestral works, we did the live stream for that yesterday. So all that's out there. We'll be coming up with daily updates to keep you reminded and up to date of anything new that comes up, and with specific clips taken from these roundups that we do with respect to specific performances which we think you really want to notice. Ciao for now. Have a good week.